Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. Travel disruptions growing worse at multiple airports because of the government shutdown. A federal judge sets a new deadline for paying out SNAP benefits, and President Trump threatens military action in Nigeria. First, the shutdown, wreaking havoc at the airports. Staffing shortages forced delays and cancellations. A ground stop ordered at Newark Airport. As Republicans and Democrats point fingers, our new polling shows who Americans are blaming for the impasse. 42 million Americans still waiting for word on food assistance. Late today, a federal judge with a ruling on when they should get the benefits. President Trump ordering the Pentagon to draw up plans for military action against Nigeria. The president accusing that country of persecuting Christians. Tonight, Nigeria's president denying his country is religiously intolerant and saying he'd welcome help against terrorists. Plus, the U.S. strikes against alleged drug smugglers continue in the Caribbean. Countdown to Election Day, the final push in several key races. In New York City, the frontrunner for mayor, Zohran Mamdani, gets a boost from former President Barack Obama, also campaigning hard in New Jersey in a tight race for governor. Police in Britain released one of the two men arrested in the brutal stabbing attack on a train, why they now say there was only one attacker. Here at home, authorities searching for two people they believe are connected to what's being called an intentional explosion at a Harvard University research facility. Parents sounding the alarm about the dangers of AI chatbots, lifelike computer programs that interact with users, many of them teenagers. We speak with a mother who describes the alarming changes she saw in her own son. The frightening moments after a Ferris Wheel carriage suddenly tipped over, a woman clinging to the ride. Two girls tumbled to the ground. Their conditions tonight. The Dodgers come back to win back-to-back World Series. Late word on how Los Angeles plans to celebrate. And America Strong tonight, the shark attack survivor never giving up. Her inspiring race at the New York City Marathon.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Whit Johnson. We begin tonight with more Americans feeling the fallout from the government shutdown, now entering its second month and on the verge of becoming the longest in U.S. history. It's now triggering flight delays and cancellations at airports across the U.S. The shutdown has forced 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 TSA agents to work without pay. Some are now calling out sick. The ripple effect wreaking havoc. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy now warning that more challenges are ahead, with delays getting worse. Meanwhile, with 42 million Americans potentially losing access to federal food assistance, a federal judge is now ordering the Trump administration to restore those benefits. And tonight, what our new poll found about who Americans are blaming for the shutdown. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selina Wang leads us off tonight.
Tonight, the government shutdown barreling towards the longest in history, the fallout growing across the country. A ground stop at Newark tonight as staffing shortages trigger delays at airports nationwide. Air traffic controllers working without pay for weeks, now calling out under stress and fatigue.
We will delay, we will cancel any kind of flight across the national airspace to make sure people are safe.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warning the delays will only get worse.
There is a level of risk that gets injected into the system when we have a controller that's doing two jobs instead of one.
Keep going. Across the country, 42 million Americans set to lose critical food assistance. A federal judge in Rhode Island now ordering the Trump administration to start making food stamp payments by Monday or partial payments by Wednesday. But it's unclear if the White House will comply, the Trump administration arguing it can't legally use emergency funds.
It's very unfortunate that Donald Trump and Republicans have decided to weaponize hunger,
leaving families like Jenna's and her 4 children in Oklahoma in limbo.
My dog is sick, but I have to eat. So the dog is ultimately going to have to suffer, or the kids are going to have to wear shoes that are too small for an extra month because we have to buy dinner.
Republicans slamming Democrats for voting down spending bills to reopen the government.
Democrats have voted 14 times now, Shannon, to keep the government closed. 14 times they had the opportunity to have SNAP benefits flow, to let air traffic controllers be paid, to take care of all these problems and pay the troops, and they said no.
A new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll finds more Americans are blaming Trump and Republicans than Democrats for the shutdown. as Democrats hold firm for an extension of affordable health care tax credits to prevent health care costs for some 20 million Americans from skyrocketing. Beth Dryer's monthly premium jumping from $80 to $425.
This is more than quadrupled in cost for me.
She's now canceling her plan, putting her own health at risk.
All the women in my family have had breast cancer, so I know that's on the table for me. But I feel pretty helpless at this moment.
Selina Wang joining us now in studio. And Selina, ahead of the major elections happening this week, what does our new poll say about how Americans are feeling about the job so far from President Trump?
Well, Whit, our new ABC News Washington Ipsos poll shows that most Americans disapprove of how President Trump is handling his job so far. In fact, 2/3 of Americans say the country is pretty seriously off on the wrong track, and a majority of Americans disapprove of how Trump is handling the economy, which is a key issue that President Trump campaigned on. But look, tonight, Whit, Republicans are adamant that they're the ones who are winning this fight.
All right, Selina, it's good to see you in person in studio. We appreciate it. Thank you. Now to President Trump threatening military action in Nigeria, accusing the West African country of not doing enough to protect Christians. Tonight, Nigerian officials are denying claims of religious intolerance and saying they welcome U.S. assistance in fighting terrorism. Here's ABC's Alex Presha.
Tonight, President Trump says the U.S. military stands prepared to go into Nigeria guns a-blazing, claiming the country's government is allowing Christians to be slaughtered. The president threatening to wipe out Islamic terrorists in a post. Trump adding that the U.S. will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country. Secretary Pete Hegseth standing with the president, responding, the Department of War is prepared for action. Nigeria is split nearly evenly between Muslims and Christians. But over the last decade, the violent terror group Boko Haram and other extremists have increased attacks like this one in northern Nigeria. Analysts caution that while Christians are among those targeted, most of these attacks are in Nigeria's Muslim-majority north.
It's not only the Christians they are killing. They are killing those who are not Christian too.
Some Nigerians welcome help from the U.S., but Nigeria's President Tinubu, who has struggled to contain these rebel groups, pushing back against these accusations, saying the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality. The threat of military intervention comes as the U.S. has escalated its operations targeting alleged drug traffickers in South America. Overnight, the Pentagon saying 3 people were killed in an airstrike on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean Sea. This attack just days after 4 boats in the Eastern Pacific were destroyed, killing 14 people.
Now, President Trump is accusing Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro, of orchestrating drug trafficking and says that he hasn't ruled out land strikes. He also says that he's authorized covert CIA missions inside that country.
Alex Presha, we appreciate it. Now to the countdown to Election Day. Former President Obama hit the campaign trail on Saturday, delivering the closing pitch for Democrats running for governor in Virginia and New Jersey. President Trump's political operations are investing millions of dollars in voter turnout in those states. Tuesday could be an early forecast for next year's midterm elections. Here's ABC's Olivia Rubin.
Tonight, the final sprint to Election Day. In New York City, more than 500,000 people voting early, setting a new record. New York State Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani trying to close out strong.
Are you ready to win this race?
The 34-year-old frontrunner, Mamdani, facing questions about lack of experience. But sources tell ABC News the self-described Democratic socialist notched praise from former President Barack Obama, who complimented his campaign in a private phone call. The former president rallying Democrats in key races for governor in Virginia and New Jersey.
Every day, this White House offers up a fresh batch of lawlessness and recklessness and mean-spiritedness and just plain craziness.
In Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger battling Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Shears.
We do not need someone who has been in lockstep with this administration every step of the way.
In New Jersey, polling showing Democrat Mikey Sherrill with a 7-point lead over Republican Jack Ciattarelli in a race focused on affordability and taxes in a state where Republicans gained ground in 2024.
The closeness of my race and the closeness of the president's race last year were real eye-openers for a whole lot of people.
Now, sources telling ABC the president's political operation has invested millions to get out the vote in this first major election since he took office. And in California, Democrats asking voters to approve a new map to flip as many as 5 House seats next year after Republicans did the same in Texas.
What this is all about is Democrats getting back on our toes, not our heels, getting our mojo back.
And with about 580,000 New Yorkers have already come to busy polling places just like this one for early voting. That's about 4 times as many as the last mayoral election. Clearly, New Yorkers are very engaged in what will be the most consequential election day before next year's midterms. Whit.
All right, Olivia, thank you for that. And on election night Tuesday, ABC News Live will have comprehensive coverage as results come in. Lindsay Davis will be joined by our powerhouse political team streaming Tuesday from 7 to midnight on ABC News Live on Disney Plus and Hulu. Overseas now to panic and chaos after a mass stabbing on a London-bound train near Cambridge in eastern England. At least 11 people were injured and some remain hospitalized tonight. Let's get right to ABC's Marcus Moore. And Marcus, authorities do have a suspect in custody.
That's right, and police now say the 32-year-old man they arrested in connection with Saturday night's stabbing attack is now the sole suspect. Authorities say that man injured 11 people as that train went down the tracks. The train's operator making an emergency stop 2 hours north of London, and tonight 6 people remain in the hospital and one of them is in critical condition. He's been identified as a worker on that train who tried to stop the alleged attacker. Authorities said the employee's actions, quote, were nothing short of heroic and that he undoubtedly saved lives. Police have not released a possible motive for the attack, but said they do not believe that this was terror-related. And after first saying there were 2 suspects, police later announced a 35-year-old man who was also arrested has since been released without charges. And the sole suspect is being held on suspicion of attempted murder.
Marcus Moore for us tonight. Thanks so much. Back here in the U.S., the investigation after what authorities are calling an intentional explosion at a building on the campus of Harvard's medical school. The university releasing images of 2 people they believe may have been involved and are asking for the public's help to identify them. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
Tonight, authorities are searching for these people they say are suspects in connection with an explosion on Harvard's campus.
It was really loud. I couldn't believe how loud it was.
Authorities say they responded to a fire alarm at Harvard's medical school just before 3 a.m. The responding officer allegedly attempting to stop 2 masked men fleeing the building. Inside, campus police say they discovered what seemed to be the scene of an explosion on the 4th floor. The Boston Fire Department later saying that explosion was intentionally set. The incident playing out at Harvard's Goldenson building, normally housing the Department of Neurobiology and other science facilities. No additional devices were found, according to authorities, but sources tell ABC News the explosive device used was not a bomb.
That would be terrible if somebody got hurt. I can't even imagine.
Tonight, Harvard says that building is now reopened and there is no continued threat to the community. Meanwhile, the FBI is on scene trying to piece together who did this and why. No word yet as to a possible motive.
All right, Andrew, we appreciate it. Now to the frightening moment at a festival near Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 2 young girls were thrown from a Ferris wheel on Saturday. Witnesses say the 2 girls fell out when the bucket they were riding in was caught on wires and tilted. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, panic at a Louisiana fair. Rescuers scaling a Ferris wheel to reach a woman clinging to an over-tipped carriage at the Harvest Festival in New Roads, just outside of Baton Rouge, after 2 girls fell from the ride just moments before.
I heard a body, like something fall. Like I heard a loud boom.
Police tending to one of the victims on the ground. Witnesses there stunned.
It caught onto the wires and then it tilted over and the 2 girls fell out.
The 2 girls, both under the age of 13, flown to the hospital. Authorities investigating why the ride malfunctioned. It comes just days after this terrifying incident in Kansas City, Missouri. 2 people tightly holding onto a young girl after they say her seatbelt became unlatched aboard the Mamba roller coaster at Worlds of Fun theme park. The park's parent company, Six Flags, saying they found no issue with the seatbelts, but have replaced them out of an abundance of caution. That ride has since reopened.
And as for that incident in Louisiana, that Ferris wheel still closed tonight. We've reached out to the Harvest Festival for comment and have not heard back.
A frightening scene. Morgan, our thanks to you tonight. There's much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. AI chatbots can mimic human conversations, but tonight, one parent is speaking out about the dangers they pose to children. And they were on the brink of defeat, but now the LA Dodgers are back-to-back champions. How they plan to celebrate. Next tonight, a popular AI chatbot platform is making big changes over concerns about child safety as it faces multiple lawsuits. ABC's Aaron Katursky spoke with a mother who is sounding the alarm over changes she noticed in her own son.
Pick your character.
Tonight, kids under 18 are limited in how much time they can spend chatting with a virtual companion on the platform Character AI. By the end of the month, teens will be banned from using that feature altogether. The company citing recent news reports and questions from regulators as reasons for the sweeping change. The move comes after parents like Mandy Furness are suing the company. Furness vividly remembers the day she discovered her son's fixation with an AI chatbot.
I thought, how does this happen? He went from a happy-go-lucky kid, smiling all the time. He developed depression-like symptoms. He stopped eating. He lost 20 pounds.
The lawsuit says LJ was talking to an array of virtual characters on Character AI who led him down a dark path. LJ was cutting his arm.
It told him that it goes to the forest to where nobody else is there and cuts their own skin, and told him that he should do that too.
Character AI said it does not comment on pending litigation. LJ is currently getting treatment at a mental health facility. An estimated 72% of teens have interacted with AI companions. Online safety advocates applaud the new changes, but say AI chatbots should have been off limits to children in the first place.
This is basically your child or teen is having an emotionally intense, potentially deeply romantic or sexual relationship with an entity that feels like a person representing a company that has no responsibility for where that relationship goes.
Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Our thanks to Aaron Katursky for that report. When we come back, how Los Angeles plans to celebrate the Dodgers' World Series victory. To the index now, Los Angeles is throwing a victory parade for the Dodgers tomorrow after their incredible World Series win. Will Smith with the home run to put LA up 5-4 in the top of the 11th inning. The Dodgers then shutting down the Blue Jays with a double play to end the game and give them back-to-back championships. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the series MVP after starting Game 6, then closing Game 7. Runners from Kenya swept the top spots today at the New York City Marathon. Helen Obiri set a course record just under 2 hours and 20 minutes. For the men, Benson Kipruto edged Alexander Mutiso at the finish line. And congratulations to our very own Good Morning America relay team running the marathon one day before the program's 50th anniversary celebration. Still ahead here, America Strong, the amputee and shark attack survivor, and the inspiring finish. Finally tonight, America Strong, the shark attack survivor proving anything is possible at the New York City Marathon.
We first introduced you to Allie Truitt last summer, the former college swimmer, 2 days after graduation, attacked by a shark while snorkeling with friends off the coast of Turks and Caicos.
We fought back, but pretty quickly the shark had my leg in its mouth, and the next thing I knew, it had bitten off my foot and part of my leg.
Days later, on her 23rd birthday, she underwent a below-the-knee amputation of her left leg.
I have to learn how to sit again and stand again and walk again and run.
But undeterred, Allie set her sights on new goals, winning 2 silver medals at the 2024 Paralympics as a swimmer. And now, her next challenge, running the TCS New York City Marathon wearing a prosthetic blade, documenting her 14-week training journey.
This week I did a 20-mile run, which still feels crazy to say. I am in Nashville. I'm with Sophie, Hannah, and Kristen, who all played pivotal roles in saving my life.
Allie is now paying it forward, creating a nonprofit called Stronger Than You Think, on a mission to provide young women and girls with prosthetics to help them reclaim their lives and passions.
What's one dream you have?
To be a great runner. I dream of being an actor so I can sing and dance.
And this afternoon, a joyful Allie crossed that finish line, realizing one of her dreams.
You have more in you than you might think, and we can rise back up when life knocks us down.
Bravo, Allie. Just incredible. And don't miss Good Morning America's 50th anniversary celebration. First thing tomorrow morning. I'll be there with the whole team. And David right back here tomorrow night. I'm with Johnson in New York. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 3rd year in a row.